done to disguise the true figures before you even get to the fact that these reporting systems were never robust enough for an outright clinical trial of millions, potentially a few billion people. They just can't do it. You know, it speaks of being premeditated at the very least. You know, I'm sure you've probably got to that conclusion already.
Well, we've come to that conclusion quite a while ago, except we thought that maybe there's not quite enough evidence. Well, if you look at the totality of the evidence, there's more than enough evidence. However, a very recent presentation, which I'm sure you know, done by Dr. Mike Yeadon, shows precisely how they use these different batches in order to have an experiment within an experiment, in order to try out what kind of dosage is needed in order to, this is what it looks like, in order to kill people and maim people. And I mean, this is inescapable, at least in my view as a lawyer. It is inescapable evidence of there being premeditation. And once you have premeditation, there is no immunity for anyone anymore, not even in the United States.
No.
I think we should shortly have a look on this, what Mike Yeadon spoke about. I think I have, if you want, I have prepared it and I can show just for the audience too, because it's very important. Yeah. We speak about the vaccinations. It's not the vaccinations. It's not true that there is the same stuff in each shot. Right. And we have very, very hard evidence with the batches that they are differently, if they are shaped differently, have different effect. And I just want to show this. When we see our normal statistics, we see the following, something from the European, for instance, for the European.
Do you mind, Sam? Do you mind, Sam, if he jumps in and shows?
No,
us?
not at all. No, I was just, we've got experts talking about what's being reported on the VAX data. So we've got, they don't refer to batches, they refer to lots.
Yes.
Yes.
And they've got 11 lots with 6 or 7% of the deaths. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see this here. This is what they normally show. And this is the European data. You see the people getting the jabs here, and this is the people dying. And you see there is it's not always continuously moving here, but there are like teeth going up and down. Mm. So, and you can say a lot about this. It doesn't say anything, but if you analyze it as it was done in US with the lots and the batches, you can see much more. You can see this. There you see the table where you have the states of the United States, the 50-something states of the United States, and there you have the batches. Mm-hmm. And then you see the numbers here in this table here. And you see in some batches, you see no cases. This is all people who died from those batches, and it's from each lot here. I think it's a lot. You see the numbers here, and in some there is nothing. Nobody dies here, but then suddenly there are few where many people die. Hundreds die, and then again a pause, and then again you have those people dying here. And when you have a look on this, a very close look on this, and this is what they did, then you can find such a thing. You can see here, you have 9,500 different batches all here. And you see on the baseline here, you see that normally nothing happens. But in some batches, you see that something happens. And this, you have the toxicity here. Toxicity expressed in deaths, Kate. And this is, in some cases, are 3,000 times more than the baseline, toxic than the baseline. And then you have batches where you're 2,500 times toxic than the baseline, and in between those single piles of death cases, there is quietness. There is nothing happens. So you have always a phases and just a second.
It's probably that they're trying to reestablish a baseline in between.
No, you see it's regular. You see it's linear here going down, and there are less and less death cases. It is like they try to find out the doses or the effect of something, where how many people die. And you can see that this is 3,000, 2,500. You have 2,000, 1,500, and 500 deaths. And it's dependent on the different batches. And this is only from Pfizer. We have a different structure with Johnson & Johnson had horrible accumulation of cases in certain batches. And we know all this. And this tells us very clearly, and each doctor should know it, that the batches are not controlled, that the doctors just use for a big experiment where they try out something. We don't know what they try out. We don't know why people die, whether it's the spikes or whether it's something else. We don't know it. Because
the bottom line is that there's, even though, of course, it is quite clear that some of the batches are, or at least on its surface, appear to be harmless. Maybe it's saline water in there, we don't know. But others are not. So this is what Mike Yeadon came up with. There's a 1 in 200 chance that you're going to run into one of those dangerous batches or lots. 1 in 200. So this is a game of Russian roulette you're playing. The first shot may be okay, the second may be okay, the booster may be okay, but sooner or later they're going to get you.
It's not Russian roulette. It's a trial. It's planned. And the batches are sent somewhere. And the batches are used and they are all registered. And sometimes they are equally used over the whole state, and sometimes there's a local spot, and it depends. And what was found out too is that when one firm is doing such things like BioNTech does it here, the other keep quiet. The other don't do their experiments. And then the next firm, the next enterprise does it with its own stuff. So they say, I want to do something, I want to try out something, and then I want to try out, then it's AstraZeneca, then it's Johnson & Johnson, and then it's Moderna, and they all have different ideas what they could try out in this very, very big trial. So all those stupid doctors think they give the same injection to everyone. It's not true. They are misused for a very big trial where there's no ethics committee. It's an obscure trial where the people are just the victims. And there are some people who have the idea that they could genetically modify something, humans, and they all have patents on this stuff. And they have patents, and they said, "Oh, I have a patent too." And now we have the new one. We shall have the new vaccine. There will be Valneva, and there will be there are 120 new in the pipeline, and they all want to try out. And now it's the time they can't do it because we are afraid, and we need the vaccine, and we all participate in this nonsense. It is worse than Nuremberg. What happens now? It is horrible. There are thousands of Mengeles now, but some of them don't know, but others know very well what they do. And they kill people. They kill thousands of people.
Intentionally.
Yes, intentionally.
I mean, this is a very, very scary looking graph because, I mean, this thing that it's so...
It's proof. This is a proof.
I know, but
planned.
Look, I mean, this really that it's, you can see that there's nothing in between. This cannot be coincidence.
No, it is not. It cannot be.
It's a coordinated effort, or else they wouldn't do it in a synchronized way. First BioNTech, Pfizer, then Moderna, then Janssen. They're doing it in a highly coordinated way so that they will not interfere with each other. Each one of them is doing their own little experiments within an experiment. And what Wolfgang has pointed out to us, Sam, is that, of course, it's not just Mike Yeadon who knows about this, but it's the entire community. All of the pharmaceutical industry, they all know it. So
and the Paul Ehrlich Institute knows it.
Yeah, they know it. So they all want to be part of it.
And they hide it.
It's only a question of time. until all the others will join in and make it even worse, because it is easy to extort those who are already committing the crimes, so that the others, will also be admitted into this, mass serial killing.
Yeah. And our statisticians have, two of them have got together and repeated the findings of the VAX lots, that they call them, and then that's been repeated by teams in the US, and it's been shared collaboratively. So if it's that easily repeatable, it must be known. And if perhaps you assume that it wasn't known before, and we think that it was, the very higher echelons of those who probably control governments, but it is known now. So now it stops. And if we can prove criminal intention or even gross negligence manslaughter, it may well be that those who've been harmed or those who've lost a loved one can actually get some form of compensation. Because at the moment, it's basically impossible in the UK and worldwide. And that's been the case with vaccines for a long, long time.
But I mean, it's like, Wolfgang, when you said that the other companies keep quiet or are not doing anything, or the batches that they are producing at that point don't seem to be harmful, like during, at the same time where maybe the Pfizer stuff is harmful. But that then also shows, I mean, it's almost like unbelievable that there's some sort of synchronized effort. So there must be people, not only in one of the companies, but getting together and say, well, we are now using this first week of April, and we are using the, whatever. I mean, that's, I have a hard time wrapping my head around this.
Yeah.
It is a guy who he is called Craig Paardekopper, Paardekopper. He made this work. He analyzed all this and he published it. This is what Mike Yeadon used, and he did it already on the 2nd of December. And
Who is he, Wolfgang?
He's some guy who's dealing with statistics, improving he works close to some pharmaceutical industry, but not to this one. But he knows what happens, and it's very. I was very fascinated. I published already in December, or beginning or November. I published that this fact that that only 5% of all the batches were responsible for all side effects. This was published. This was already done. But this analysis is much more detailed, and it tells something about the structure of this giant clinical trial. We are the victims, and I think this is something for state attorneys, if they are still there. I don't know, but this is something.
This is of course
where we should immediately go and get the files from Paul-Ehrlich Institute.
Yeah, this is a legal problem, of course. Ultimately, this is a legal problem, but this makes it a whole lot easier for any lawyer in this world to show intent, because this, as I said, this is an inescapable conclusion. From these graphs, you can show intent. They are deliberately using different dosages, coordinated with each other so that they won't interfere with each other, in order to try and find out what kills the best or what maims the best.
Yeah, we have those data from VAX, which is the US statistics, where it's easy to find out. I'm very happy that they have such a transparent system of documentation. But when you try to find out in an email, you find out you don't see it. It's very difficult to see that. You don't see the badges so easily.
You can't in the UK, Wolfgang, at the moment. So we've asked for additional information. Also, the stillbirth miscarriage data appears to end in March 21 currently.
They hide it.
Yeah. And we need that. We need that urgently.
We have this law, information freedom law, where they should give us everything. Then they will give us preps, and they will give us files and papers. I did such a thing before with the pharmaceutical industry. They send us boxes with papers, with thousands of papers, which we had to scan to find out what was going on, to find some connection there between the data. But they will make it very, very difficult. But it would be their job to make it easy, because their job is to protect us from such criminal things.
Yeah. It's been a trend amongst the freedom of information requests to the MHRA, that the regulator here, that they've been denying some of the FOIs, and we have that, and they'll talk about things like commercial interests taking priority.
These are commercial interests. That's true.
Yeah, that's what we're concerned about.
But you know, when we spoke to people from like self-help, vaccine victim groups, and it was interesting. I mean, when you compare this now to what we just discussed, like how much they're doing everything in order to help keep these the vaccine damages reports under the carpet, because they said that like some of the groups get censored immediately, like from Instagram, and after like a few weeks when it's going up and people are joining and are reporting their damages, like, or discussing them amongst themselves, immediately they get censored. And what they also see that, when they go to the doctors, I mean, some of them get ridiculed or get sent from one doctor to the other, and they say, oh, there's no connection. And then they find on the internet, and are not supposed to find on the internet, what other victims report as problems. And some of them are really afraid to come forward, because they feel that, if they kind of break the like give away the secret that they've been harmed. That's how they feel it. It's like it's their dirty little secret that they got harmed by the vaccine, instead of coming out and say, wow, this has happened to me. So they get by this censorship and all this, like, negative propaganda, they get so afraid that they keep it to themselves and also not seek for adequate help. It's like it's a really devilish kind of circle that's going on here.
Well, that young lady that I mentioned, Chelsea Dixon, her story will be reported in the alternative media. It won't get picked up by the mainstream media.
I think I'm very sure what I just showed you, the things we spoke about, we will be wiped off from the media, from the alternative media immediately.
Yeah.
This is what we just published. This will disappear immediately if you take it down and save it in your computer so that you can spread it. So please do it as fast as possible.
So my computer got hacked as soon as I did get invited onto mainstream media, and they hacked my website as well. Very similar to what Mike Yeadon experienced. So
I see the fact checkers sweating now to what they can do against this. It's such hard data. I'm very curious what they will say.
Yeah. Well, Robert Malone won't be contributing to that discussion on Twitter because he's gone now. So this has to end. We need a new world, new media, probably a new medical system as well, a new financial system, because these are the people behind.
Yeah, we need a great reset. Huh? We are agreed.
not that one. Not that
one. These findings in particular have immense legal repercussions. Immense. Because once you arrive at the conclusion that they're doing this deliberately, intentionally, or as Martin Schwab puts it, maliciously, once you arrive at this conclusion, the floodgates are open in the United States for punitive damages.
And those data, they are present.
I know.
They are the official verse data. There's nothing hidden. It's open. Everyone can have it.
Yes, but you have to draw the legal conclusion. And the legal conclusion is its intent. And if it's intent, you can get punitive damages. You can go up to 21 times the actual damage, which is added on top of the actual damage. In these cases, I would think you can go up to 1,000 times, because these people got so badly injured. I think this is going to be enough to dismantle the entire industry.
Yeah.